Hey everyone, welcome back to Crime Wire Weekly. Excited to bring you the topics for today. And this is an extra episode. You might be thinking, it's Monday.
Hey, sometimes a Monday can suck. We're gonna make it better for you.
That's right. Mondays are always hectic, but we're going to make it better for you because you're going to have a little news to listen to today. Just a lot going on that we couldn't cover only on Friday's show. So here we are, and we're going to start it off with Boosie Badazz. He is in the news again, Kelly Jennings.
I have a soft spot for him. I like him.
I like his music. There's no doubt about it. And he is apparently entangled in a Trump pardon scam that has gone absolutely viral. Pretty wild stuff there. We're going to talk about it. Stephanie Perdue, a lot of people are familiar with that case. She has been convicted in a bizarre murder for hire plot. We're going to go to Louisiana where a man has been arrested and has ties to some missing person cases in the area. We're going to talk about it. The Dollar Tree Gooner trend. Have you heard of that?
I have now, and don't mess with my Dollar Tree.
Yeah,
that is a place I love to be.
If you're a woman and you're going in Dollar Tree, you better be aware of your surroundings. And we're going to tell you why. Some shocking statistics there. We're going to go on the True Crime Time Machine, of course. We're also going to go to Elderly Outlaws. These old people be wilding out there. We're going to tell you about a former prosecutor who is accused of repeat attempts to poison her husband. The FBI has arrested a man on the most wanted list. Look, they're killing it. We covered one on Friday with the FBI arresting the boater. Yeah. If you'll remember the guy that's been on a boat for 20 years. Well, they've now arrested a man who is accused of embezzling, get this, $600 million from Medicare.
We are in the wrong business.
We are in the wrong business. We're going to talk about that. I came up with a new segment, and it might only be a one-episode segment.
A one-off, a one-hit wonder?
But I'm going to call it Karen's Gone Wild.
Karen,
Karen's gone, because there is a Karen that you're going to have to hear about. The Long Island Lolita. You remember her?
I do.
She might have been a little before your time.
It was, but I know it.
Okay, well, her son has been arrested in Florida. So we're going to talk about that. A lot of interesting stuff to get to. So welcome to Crime Wire Weekly. I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly Jennings.
Kelly, second day, well, not the second day in a row because we had a weekend mixed in, but we're bringing them even more entertainment today.
You know what? I really like doing these stories, because we get to stay up to date. But, when people always reach out to us and they go, y'all are like siblings. One person asked me if you were my brother, the way that we like.
Brother from another mother.
I said, no, we're just friends. So we just, we'll banter and argue with each other, but we get over it.
That's right. That's right.
We show back up.
That's right. We show back up all day, every day. All right, let's get into it. We're going to start off in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and Boosie Badazz, also known as Torrance Hatch. Yeah.
Yeah, he was at Angola for a hot minute.
That's right. He was. Yeah. But he wasn't. He was out. He's out, and then he made something of himself. Well, he is suing two controversial political operatives after paying them $600,000 to secure a presidential pardon from Donald Trump that never materialized. The Baton Rouge native, known for hits like "Wipe Me Down,"
"Wipe Me Down,"
as I'm on. Oh, you're not going to continue singing? I thought Kelly was going to continue singing it.
Sorry, normally I do sing.
Well, he's known for that song. He has become embroiled in this deal with these guys. It's led to some pretty ongoing problems. Boosie, he pleaded guilty to being a felon in possession of a firearm, and we brought you that story, I believe, on this show.
Yeah.
Actually, it stemmed from a 2023 arrest, and in January of 2026, he was sentenced to time served 10 days plus 3 years of supervised release. But he sought a full pardon to clear his record. Now, according to the lawsuit, Boosie signed the agreement with Jacob Wall and Jack Berkman of J.M. Berkman and Associates. This is in late September of 2025. The firm pitched itself as having deep connections in Trump's orbit. quote, they were real aggressive and they act like they had Trump on speed dial, Boosie said.
Yeah.
The contract reportedly required the full $600,000 up front with a provision for $300,000 in refunds if no pardon could be secured by a specified deadline. Now, tensions escalated around the new year. On New Year's Eve, Berkman allegedly texted that the pardon was, quote, in hand and ready to sign. Boosie's lawyer, Megan Blanco, received a call claiming Trump signed it and the White House simply hadn't announced it yet. But that pardon never surfaced. A White House aide later confirmed to Blanco that no application for Boosie had been filed and the clemency team had never heard of Wall or Berkman. Ruh-roh. Officials reportedly warned that their involvement could harm applicants' chances. Boosie filed for arbitration in March of 2026 through the American Arbitration Association to recover the $300,000. Wall and Berkman have refused, disputing the refund clause and claiming their firm is effectively bankrupt due to millions in prior fines from a robocall scheme targeting black voters and other issues. Berkman defended their efforts, saying, quote, Boosie has no reason to be unhappy. In 30 years of lobbying, I doubt we have ever done more work or harder work. The provision in the contract he is referencing was never agreed to at all. The other factor is that Boosie's quest for a pardon was made much tighter and tougher by an arrest for a crime of violence in Texas earlier this year. We tried very, very hard. Boosie had taken to social media to voice his frustration. He posted messages, basically questioning where this money went and alleging the operative's claims were false. And so as of now, he has not received a pardon and continues his legal battle to recoup refunds.
So, at first when I jumped on, reading or the story, I'm thinking, how could he just give up $600,000 like that for something so easily? But I looked up online too. It's this website, opensecrets.org, but it does say that this agency is a lobbying firm. But when you look at, total compensation, it says in 2025 was up 92.8%. So I'm like, well, how did they have such greater gains than they had in the past? And it said that they have 51 clients on file, but Boosie wasn't their number one client. Their number one client was a guy, it says Joseph Schwartz, and he gave $960,000 to their agency. And then there's a doctor on here. There's even Rhino, like general contractors with I don't know if I'm not saying it's Rhino lining, but it's Rhino. So there's other groups in here too that have given a lot of money. Alpish Patel, $85,000. Rhino Inc., $45,000, Eclipse Therapeutics. And so this is all, I'm going to say allegedly, because I can't confirm that anything that's on the site is true, but it looks like there's only 51 clients, but a lot of these clients, it has $0 next to their name. So it seems to me like this really might be a scam, because why would you say, give me $600,000 and then if we can't get it done, I'll give you back $300,000? I mean, that just sounds like, well, give me $300,000.
This is what it sounds like to me. It sounds like it's definitely a legit firm. I mean, they're a lobbying firm. All they do is they basically speak on your behalf and lobby for you to get a pardon.
Yeah,
but they can't guarantee that. If they could guarantee it, everybody'd be paying them $1 million. Right. So what they say is, okay, we're going to invest this much time in getting you a pardon. So Boosie, give us $600,000. If we can't secure it, we're going to give you $300,000 back because they've done all this work, and I guess want to get compensated for that.
But I read too, or did you say that there were typos and stuff in the contract?
Yeah, there were typos in the contract. It was definitely
sketch
and not very well. I think all that sketch. I don't think you should have lobbying firms for pardons.
Yeah.
I mean, it just seems weird to me.
The average Joe couldn't do that.
No.
And that's not, the law is supposed to be, in this country, it's supposed to be, blind to what your status is, or, and it's supposed to be weighing you and measuring us all on an equal playing field. And when money becomes the deciding factor of a pardon or not, that's not fair.
Right.
That's not fair.
Certainly there's pardons throughout history where it was legit pardons. Like the person wasn't rich. It's just their story got out and they got a pardon for whatever reason. In this case, though, it seems like Boosie was getting taken advantage of, but it seems like he's fighting back too. He's suing him in court, and maybe he'll get some money for that if they're on good financial footing. I don't know.
Well, they have money somewhere.
They definitely have $600,000.
Yeah,
and he gave it to them.
And it said they made over $3 million on that thing that I was looking at last year. So yeah, I'm on Team Boosie right now, and I say we do this, Boosie. Tell them that I said this, and I'm just going to pull this out of the sky. But if they want to talk shit, they want to run their mouth, they want some gangsters outside their house, set that bitch off. Set that bitch off.
There we go. Always got to take it too far.
I did, but I like Boosie. All right, so let's go to Milton, Florida, where a Santa Rosa County jury has convicted Stephanie Michelle Perdue of orchestrating a brazen murder-for-hire scheme from behind bars to kill her then-husband, Sean Perdue, after she allegedly shot him in the throat in a separate domestic violence incident that he miraculously survived. So the verdict brings a dramatic close to one of Santa Rosa County's longest-running criminal cases, spanning years of delays, continuances, and intense legal maneuvering. Prosecutors argue that Perdue was driven by a toxic relationship and a desire to eliminate her husband as a witness or an obstacle. So she first tried to kill him herself, and then when that failed, she enlisted others, including her boyfriend, to finish the job using lethal fentanyl doses and cash incentives. So the case traces back to April of 2022 when deputies responded to a domestic disturbance at Little Man's Paint and Body Shop in Milton, Florida.
That's a great name.
What a name for Little Man.
Little Man.
I wonder if that was
his
a
nickname.
Yeah.
It was. You'll get to it.
All right. So according to authorities, Stephanie Perdue, then 50 years old, arrived unannounced and shot her husband Sean in the throat. Sean survived the attack. Perdue was arrested and charged with aggravated battery involving great bodily harm by discharging a firearm. She claimed self-defense, alleging her husband had become violent during an argument. She was released on bond, but later violated a domestic violence injunction obtained by her husband, landing her right back in the Santa Rosa County Jail. So while incarcerated, prosecutors say Perdue hatched the murder-for-hire plot with the help of her boyfriend. So this guy, at the time he was 51, David Paul Bollier, she allegedly approached at least 2 inmates who were confidential informants who reported her to authorities, and she promised them thousands of dollars in cash, her home, her husband's business, and she would also promise them protection if they would kill Sean, who is referred to by Perdue as Little Man, by using those lethal doses of fentanyl upon their release. So one informant was reportedly promised 10 grand, and they were using code words like attorney and references to quote unquote party planning for her quote unquote grandma. And that was all used to just, hide the plot as they discussed it. Bollier reportedly assisted by sharing personal details about Sean and attempting to help bond an informant out of jail. Investigators staged a fake death notification to Perdue, which I love when they do that. I love it. And then sometimes when they go to the extent of like having pictures that they put makeup, that shit is so legit. I love it. But they staged a fake death notification to Perdue, noting that she didn't appear overly upset. When informed he was alive, she reportedly expressed relief, and evidence prosecutors used to really underscore the scheme's seriousness of what was going on. Perdue and Bollier were arrested in February of 23 on charges including criminal conspiracy to commit a capital felony, and criminal solicitation to commit a capital felony. Each charge carries up to 30 years in prison. The conspiracy case, which is being handled by the Assistant State Attorney Mark Alderman, was repeatedly delayed and described as his longest pending matter in the county. A key pretrial ruling allowed evidence from the shooting to be introduced into the murder-for-hire trial to establish motive, specifically that Perdue sought to eliminate the key eyewitness in the initial attack. So, if you're not aware of this, just because you have a past, it doesn't mean that past can be used in, a future case. But in this instance, it's got to be used in the scope of establishing, look, she tried before and now she's doing it again. So Perdue pleaded not guilty to the charges, and defense attorneys argued against the admissibility of certain evidence, citing potential prejudice, but the court went ahead and moved forward. After hearing testimony from investigators, confidential informants, and others detailing the jailhouse communications, offers for payment, and the fentanyl plan, the jury returned a guilty verdict on the conspiracy and solicitation charges. Details of the exact count counts, and any recommendations for sentencing were not available at the time of this recording, but convictions on these felonies typically result in significant prison time. The aggravated battery case from the shooting remains separate, but tied with that same underlying motive, according to the prosecutors. Now, Sean Perdue, who has endured years of delays while seeking to move forward with his life, has expressed relief at the outcome in statements leading up to this resolution. The sheriff's officials, including the former sheriff Bob Johnson, had publicly described this case as a twisted love story, including Perdue and Bollier, rather than her marriage, which is kind of an interesting take. The sentencing for Stephanie is expected in the coming weeks before a Santa Rosa County circuit judge.
I mean, why can't we all just get along, huh? They talk about a rough divorce.
Damn.
That's got to be one of the worst. Shows up, shoots her husband in the neck, and he miraculously survives that.
Thank
and
God.
Then she ends up going to jail for it and recruits 2 other dudes to kill him.
To know that somebody is willing to go to such lengths to end your life must be just a nerve-wracking, experience, because you don't know who's after you. She's trying to hire people and the scum of the earth, and telling them where you live, And to look at this lady's picture, I mean, she doesn't, I guess you never know what a killer looks like, but she doesn't look like just a stone cold killer. Like to this
me.
level,
I mean,
to keep going and just divorce his ass and be done, bro. Move on.
Even when you're in prison.
You got a
still
whole
trying to
ass
kill him.
boyfriend and you're still trying to kill your ex?
Yeah. Let's go to Tennessee. And a 19-year-old Taco Bell employee in Tennessee was arrested after she allegedly threw boiling water on a coworker. Malaya Henderson was arrested on aggravated assault. This is on Sunday, July 19th, according to the Shelby County Criminal Justice Division. So the Memphis Police Department responded to an armed person call at a Taco Bell in Memphis. This is shortly after 5 p.m. that day. Upon their arrival, officers were told an employee had been transported to a burn center. After employees and officers spoke with the man at the hospital, he alleged that Henderson had thrown a pot of boiling water onto his lap. Police said they reviewed video footage showing Henderson throwing the pot of boiling water at that male employee and advised the man, they were advised that the man sustained second-degree burns following the alleged incident. The male employee, who was not scheduled to work that day, was visiting the business while Henderson was on the clock. Henderson told the police that he had been at the restaurant since early that morning, and he said this guy kept getting mad at him that day. He just kept saying a whole bunch of inappropriate things that I did not like. He kept coming into my personal space. I kept telling him, hey man, can you back up? Police said that Henderson and the male employee, who was not identified, were engaged in a kind of like a playful banter before the incident took place. The man claimed while speaking to police that Henderson playfully snatched away a second T-shirt he was carrying, which caused him to respond by grabbing Henderson's iPad, which was located near the register. The victim then proceeded to place the iPad in near a trash can inside of that business. Henderson became upset with the victim and told him that she was going to burn him with hot water. Henderson is accused of them retrieving the pot of hot water from the kitchen and threw it at the male employee as he sat inside the restaurant. Henderson said the last straw was when he took her iPad. Quote, before you know it, I blanked out after asking him many times to give me my iPad, right? Before you know it, once I blanked out, I was just pouring water on him. Henderson was released from jail on Wednesday, July 22nd after posting a $5,000 bond and has the next court date scheduled for August 27th.
You know what this sounds like? It sounds just like high school. Because that's exactly how the fights start, is those kids keep messing with each other.
But I ain't never poured no hot boiling water on somebody in high school.
That's what I was about to say, though, but the boys would start fighting. I'm like, y'all quit. It's going to turn into something it doesn't need to turn into. And that's exactly how that goes, even if they said it. But, you go to the extent of injuring somebody like that. I mean, second-degree burns is more than just a superficial, burn. I mean, that goes like down blisters, to the blisters, down to the second layer of skin. So, you might need some anger management, ma'am. You can't flash out and be burning people like that, even if they touch your iPad.
Yeah, that's actually pretty horrific. And look, boiling water is no joke. I mean, that's a bad way to to get abused.
You know, I have to tell you this real quick. My weenie dog at my house, Toby, okay, he is a noble steed. And so he will follow you and he will protect you around the yard. Well, my husband was boiling crawfish, okay, and I went inside the house. And next thing I know, I hear my dog screaming bloody murder. And I go running out there, and my husband's like, I don't know what happened. And I look down. Poor Toby was... When he pulled the crawfish out, he was walking, escorting my husband, and it poured on his back. It melted my dog's back, and it took us weeks to get it better or whatever. Do you know, I mean, he still hasn't grown any of his hair back or anything, and they said that it was second-degree burns that he got, and, that to this day is like this destroyed patch on his little back. He did make it through. So I can't imagine if they poured it down your whole lap. That must have covered his whole, his thighs and everything, huh? Mm-hmm. Ew, that's going to be a long recovery.
All right.
That was a long story about that, but, burns ain't no damn joke.
Right.
All right, we're about to talk about a story now that should get the attention of every woman in America, not only for what happened, but where it's happening. Because a new investigative report has brought attention to a disturbing pattern of sexual assaults targeting women at the Dollar Tree. But this is across the United States, with some incidents tied to an online subculture and men filming the acts. So according to a lengthy investigation by The Guardian, multiple women have reportedly been assaulted while shopping at various Dollar Tree locations. And the trend has been referred to online as, this is a direct quote, the Dollar Tree Gooner. Okay, Gooner, Gooner.
Could have thought of a better word than that.
I know, especially when you hear what it is. So Gooner draws from an internet subculture centered on prolonged compulsive masturbation known as gooning. How did we get here, guys? How are we?
Prolonged masturbation known as gooning.
Gooning. Huh. You got to get a good gooning in every now and then, I guess. So related acts of public sexual misconduct targeting unsuspecting women have been described in some online communities with the terms such as tagging or sharking. Tagging to me means when you go and you spray paint the side of a building. Gangs will go tag the buildings in their neighborhoods. Mm-hmm. But now we're masturbating. So one case highlighted the reporting involving a woman who was shopping at a Dollar Tree in Texas. Now, this was in 2023. And she reported that a man assaulted her in a manner that involved bodily fluids. So when she informed store employees, she overheard a worker remark in Spanish something to the effect of, "We've got another one," according to the account. So that would tell you what? It's been happening over and over. Right. So the woman later learned of similar reports at other locations, and her attorney, Anna Greenberg, told The Guardian that the scale of the problem was larger than initially expected. Greenberg has represented multiple women alleging comparable assaults at Dollar Tree stores in different states. So this included Texas, Florida, California, and Colorado. In a separate high-profile incident that was in Philadelphia in 2024, a woman recorded the aftermath of an alleged assault in which a man had ejaculated on her inside a Dollar Tree. Video of her pursuing the suspect and reacting in distress was online. It circulated wildly. And the man was identified as 35-year-old Gary Miles, who later turned himself into police and faced charges, including indecent assault. Indecent assault?
Yeah.
What type of assault is decent? We don't know, guys. All right, so indecent assault, open lewdness, and harassment. The case gained attention after the rapper Meek Mill publicly offered a bounty for information leading to the suspect's location.
Meek Mill,
man, he made the new. You remember he was tied up in the Diddy thing, mm-hmm. Right? All right, so additional reports and lawsuits have documented similar incidents in other cities. In Houston, a woman said she was assaulted by a man who approached her from behind, made explicit comments, and then left bodily fluids on her clothing while she was shopping with a friend. That was in 2023. And store staff allegedly indicated it was not an isolated event at that location. Other cases have been reported in places including Miami and San Diego, with some of the women stating they only realized what had occurred after the fact and after reviewing footage, which grosses me out. It makes me feel like they went and got in their car and looked down and found fluid on their clothing. So attorneys and victims have pointed to factors such as understaffing, limited security at the stores that are contributing to the vulnerability of shoppers. And there's lawsuits against the Dollar Tree and related parties that are alleging negligence in addressing reports such of these such crimes.
Yeah. First of all, with technology comes a lot of these issues with these bad actors just figuring out how to exploit it. But besides all that, these challenges, man, these social media challenges are getting way out of hand, not only with gooning or whatever they call that, but you've got the teen takeover stuff that they do on TikTok and all of these things. I don't understand them. I
don't get it. And to blame the Dollar Tree, I'm not sure I'm on board with that because, if these people are coming in, I think that this should actually be an upgraded charge. I think that this should be considered a sex offense, not just an assault.
100%.
Because if you're willing to, it's not like you just flashed yourself, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Which is not cool either way. But I mean, like you're depositing your bodily fluids on somebody, then that's predatory. And when you look at like a sex charge, it'll say, penetration, no matter how slight, is the wording in a lot of your sex crimes. So to me, there doesn't have to be penetration for this to be considered a sex crime. And so I don't know. I think this should be upgraded, and I don't think that it should just be considered just like a indecent assault. This, to me, you should be on a registration for shit like this. I really believe that. I truly believe that. If you have the gall to go in and publicly ejaculate on somebody, that's more than just being obnoxious.
I can't agree with you more.
I don't know how you could be that aroused.
Yeah, I don't either. And, ladies, be vigilant in the Dollar Tree.
And hit them.
Yeah.
That is not, that I probably shouldn't say that, but that is my unsolicited bad advice.
Yeah, sure you should. If somebody's masturbating by you, kick them in the ding-ding.
Kick them in the ding-ding.
That's it.
De-goon them.
All right, let's go on the True Crime Time Machine. And we're going to go to South Florida, where we're actually going to take you to July 27th of 1981. And look, y'all, I remember this like it was yesterday because me and the boy that I'm about to talk about on here were the same age.
I thought you were going to say y'all were friends. I don't know why. I was like, wow.
But we were the same age, and this scared the living daylights out of me because they made it was all over the news, and then they had like TV movies and all these sorts of things. Right. But what occurred was on Monday, July 27th of 1981, a 6-year-old boy vanished from a department store in a matter of minutes. What followed would change the way America searched for missing children forever. Adam Walsh's mother had taken her son Adam shopping at a Hollywood mall in Hollywood, Florida, and inside the Sears store, she left him for just a few minutes in the toy department, where a group of older boys were playing video games. When she returned, Adam was gone. A security guard had ordered the boys out of the store for causing a disturbance, and Adam, who was a shy child, apparently left with them or was somehow separated in the confusion. Outside the store, he disappeared. By the time his mother realized the boy was missing, the boy had already been taken. What followed was one of the largest manhunts in Florida history. Posters of the freckle-faced boy in the baseball cap flooded the region, and John Walsh, Adam's father, made an emotional public plea as the nation watched. 2 weeks later, on August 10th of 1981, two fishermen found a child's severed head in a drainage canal off of the Florida Turnpike near Vero Beach, more than 100 miles north of the mall. It was Adam. His body was never recovered. Now, this case remained unsolved for decades. In 1983, convicted serial killer Otis Toole confessed to the crime, claiming he had lured Adam into his car with promises of toys and candy and then killed him. Now, Toole later recanted. Key physical evidence, including blood-stained carpeting from the Cadillac, was lost, and in December of 2008, Hollywood police officially closed the case, saying they were satisfied Toole was responsible. The murder of Adam Walsh did more than devastate the family, or one family. It really forced the country to confront how it treated missing children. At the time, there was no national system to quickly share information about abducted kids. There were no Amber Alerts. Pictures of missing children didn't appear on milk cartons. Adam's parents refused to let their son's death be forgotten. John Walsh became one of the most visible victim advocates in America and later hosted, if you'll remember, the long-running TV series America's Most Wanted. The family helped push for the Missing Children's Act and the creation of the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. The image of that little boy left alone in a toy aisle still haunts the public imagination. On July 27th, 1981, a few minutes of ordinary parenting turned into a national tragedy and the beginning of a movement that has helped recover thousands of other children. And that, y'all, happened 45 years ago today on July 27th, 1981.
I wasn't even born yet because I wasn't born, until 84. But the fact that I grew up knowing this story shows you the impact that this had on everybody. And, when tragedies like this strike, there's nothing you can say or do. I mean, my God, his head was all that was returned to his parents. I mean, how do you even respond to that or wrap your mind around it? But this much I know. I am such a fan of people, and I'll say parents, but people that look at a tragedy and then recognize all of the problems that led up to it becoming such a problem. And then they take the initiative to go, oh, hell no. My child is gone, but I refuse to let another parent go through what I have gone through because it has hurt me so bad and so deeply. And then to just make something of this level out of the loss of Adam. I think that his parents, especially his dad, created a legacy that Adam would be so proud of. And we don't really know what happened to him. We don't know what he went through. We don't know. And those unknowns are heartbreaking. But if ever good could come out of evil, his dad got it done.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. And I'm not convinced that Otis Toole actually killed Adam Walsh.
Wasn't it O'Toole?
No, it was Otis Toole.
It was just Toole?
T-O-O-L-E.
Why am I wanting to say O'Toole?
Because his first name started with an O.
Oh.
Could be.
That could be.
Otis Toole.
Yeah, okay.
Otis O'Toole.
Yeah, I don't remember being convinced either that he did it. Like maybe he was just trying to take...
Well, he was known for confessing the crimes he didn't commit.
Yeah.
He was a horrible serial killer. There's no doubt about it. He was a transient. And he and another serial killer actually would ride the country just killing people. A whole nother story. But it didn't surprise me that he confessed to it because he was known for confessing to high-profile crimes. And this was in 1983 when he made that confession, and it was kind of the height of this case. And so it would be typical of him. Now, I'm not saying he didn't, but I guess we'll never know. But you're right. I mean, in saying turning lemons into lemonade is a really corny way of describing it.
Right.
But his family really ran with that and did everything they could and made it their life's work and business to, like you say, stop this from happening to other children. Horrific, could not imagine it. And I'm telling you, it scared the hell out of kids.
Yeah.
And I remember parents changed the way they even allowed their kids freedom inside of malls after that. You didn't take your eyes off your kids. Not even if they were on an aisle, you were on the aisle. It never was like that before 1981.
No. And
you never thought somebody would steal your kid. It's crazy how society changed after that incident.
Even moving forward from that, as a kid in the 80s, my mama let me ride my bike and I'd be gone all day long with my buddies in the neighborhood. And, we'd check in every now and then, but we got to just play. And the rule was like, be home when the street light came on. Now, you can't even let your kids go play outside really without a fear in the back of your mind that a predator might snatch up your kid. And it's not that it's happening more now. A lot of people go, oh man, crime's just out of control now. I don't think that's the case. I think that just with technology and with
social media and all that, it's just more promoted, if you will.
Right. We know. And where we used to have to, not have to, but where this used to be more hidden and things that you didn't want to share, like the public couldn't take it. Now it's in our face. It's everywhere. And so, you have to watch your kids, and they unfortunately learned a very, very tragic lesson that day that evil's out there.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to Tennessee, where something just mind-blowing occurred. So tragedy was averted at an afternoon pool party in Tennessee last Wednesday when a child stepped up and went and got help because this child witnessed a woman trying to drown another child. Deputies were called to the scene and spoke with multiple witnesses who identified the suspect as 31-year-old McKaylee, and I think this is Barney. She had already left the home by the time that deputies got there, but they were able to track her down and take her into custody, where she was charged with aggravated child abuse and neglect. So according to the release, a group of children were left alone in the pool with this woman around 5 p.m. that day when one of the children came inside to alert the other that Bernie was forcing one child underwater. The adult witness ran outside to the pool and demanded that she release the child, but she wouldn't do it. She wouldn't let go of the kid. And the witness then grabbed Bernie and assisted the child out of the water. Once the child was safe from harm, the adult moved all of the children inside the home and called law enforcement. The sheriff's department said another adult arrived and had a brief interaction with Bernie before she left in her vehicle, and deputies arrived on scene. Deputies observed that the child had minor injuries and bruising consistent with the alleged attack described to them by eyewitnesses, and Bernie is now being held on a $50,000 bond at the Washington County Detention Center.
That case right there is just disturbing. Why trying to drown this kid?
What?
And thank God this other kid, alerted people.
Yeah.
Hey,
what a hero. Seriously, what a hero.
But what is wrong with this woman?
I have questions. And I know we don't know this, but was it a public pool? Were they at an apartment complex? What was going on? And I don't want to be judgy, but the woman looks like she might be someone who likes to, partake in maybe drugs or something, but I don't know.
She's having a bad day.
For sure.
Obviously.
But I've mentioned this before, but I have a family member whose child, his life was tragically altered in a situation just like this, but a woman was on drugs and she grabbed, I'll say it's my nephew, but it's not quite right, but grabbed my nephew, jumped in the deep end of the pool and drowned him. And so, they were able to pull him out, and he survived, but his life was ruined. I mean, he was very much altered.
He had issues. Yeah.
He's blind. He's in a wheelchair. He doesn't, and why? There's no answer. The woman was I think she was on drugs, but she just snatched him out of his little stroller where he was sitting and jumped in the deep end. There's something to this. Evil, drugs, whatever it was. But let me tell you, whoever that child is deserves an award because he or she saved a life that day. Absolutely.
100%. Let's go to Cullman, Alabama for this week's edition of Elderly Outlaws. And that was kind of a weird.
I know. Get off my lawn. I don't know, whatever our intro
that's
needs
what it
to
should
be.
A 75-year-old Alabama attorney and former prosecutor stands accused of attempting to kill her husband by lacing his food and drink with fentanyl on multiple occasions. Fentanyl again. The second story today. Sarah Baker, a longtime lawyer in Cullman, Alabama, with experience in criminal defense, divorce, and custody cases, was arrested on 11 felony counts, including conspiracy to commit murder, 3 counts of attempted murder, second-degree domestic violence, elderly abuse, and several drug-related offenses. According to the criminal complaint, Baker allegedly put fentanyl in her husband James Doyle Baker's food and drink on at least 3 dates in September of 2025, September 4th, the 12th, and the 20th. The conspiracy charge spans from early September through late November. So she was trying to poison him over time to where it would be harder to detect. Prosecutors claim Baker engaged with one or more individuals to obtain fentanyl with the intent to cause her husband's death. James Baker reportedly suffered a stroke and relied on his wife as his primary caregiver, and he survived the alleged attempts but suffered physical impairment. A 39-year-old woman identified as one of Baker's clients and a witness in the case faces separate charges related to that investigation. She is accused of, get this, hold on to your seats, swallowing fentanyl in an attempt to destroy the evidence. and possessing burglary tools. Baker was taken into custody on Tuesday night and later suspended from the Alabama bar. I would get that. The Alabama Supreme Court appointed a special judge to preside over the case. Now, the couple had been married for 30 years, and despite the serious allegations, reports indicate James Baker has expressed a desire to stand by his wife. Wow, he's a better man than me. Authorities obtained evidence, including a safe containing purple powder that tested positive for fentanyl. Investigators also reviewed communications and witness statements detailing Baker's alleged efforts to procure that drug. Former prosecutor.
Yeah, that's probably how she learned what to do here, and who to contact and all that kind of stuff. But, you know, part of me wonders what the motive here was. Because didn't it say he suffered a stroke?
Yeah, and that she was his primary caregiver, kind of relied on her. I mean, of course, that's no motive to kill him.
No. I'm curious, though. My mind was going to what is her defense going to be? And I'm wondering
she felt sorry for him or something, I bet.
Yeah, I bet she's going to come back and say compassion.
Bullshit,
you know, I bet she comes back and says the doctors weren't giving him, you know, what he needed, and this was compassion, and I was trying, blah, 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 blah. Whatever, lady. That ain't how you go about it. For shame here. For shame. You know, there's a lot more expected of someone who is a member of the bar and who is
and 75 years old.
Yeah. 75 years old. This is a absolute page right out of the book of Corey Richins. You know, when she tried to murder her husband and finally got him with the fentanyl.
But an elderly, very elderly version of that. And so there you have it. Elderly outlaws. Get off my lawn.
I love it. You did a little vocal for us.
There you go.
Perfect. That shirt's got you just feeling snazzy.
Yeah. Oh, y'all, Kelly hasn't talked about the shirt, but she's in love with the shirt I have on.
I said he looked like Goldmember from, what was that?
No. She's a hater, y'all. Look, if you're watching the Patreon, this is LSU Gold. And it is the last day of SEC Media Days, and I always wear this every year for that.
He is the most, not flamboyant, what is it? You're
flamboyant probably is a good word.
He's got he's like bright colors and all that. I come in my black shirt, you know, every time, and like we're opposites attracting here.
I know she's got her yoga pants on her t-shirt. She was like, "Oh, look at you! What are you wearing that?" And I'm like, "Girl, don't hate on me because I got style and you don't."
I said, "You need some
yoga pants.
You need some chain." I said, "You need some chains and a pinky ring, bro."
Damn right. Hey, I'll do it.
Do it.
Heartbeat.
All right. Speaking of being fancy, maybe I could afford better than these leggings and this t-shirt if you and I could come up with a scam like this guy.
I'm ready to hear it.
Look, I'm telling you, I've got our futures planned. A man accused of masterminding a massive Medicare fraud scheme involving more than, all right, y'all count, okay, $547 million.
Jesus.
Oh my God. In billings through diagnostic laboratories, including one in Louisiana, has been captured overseas and returned to the U.S. after nearly 4 years as a fugitive. Khalid Satari was taken into custody Monday and transported back to the U.S. on Tuesday, according to the feds. The Department of Justice was expected to release further details on the capture. Satari has been listed on the FBI's most wanted fraudster list with a reward of up to $150,000 offered for information leading to his arrest and conviction. So hopefully someone's $150,000 richer right now. Satari was indicted in September of 2019 by the U.S. District Court in the Eastern District of Louisiana in New Orleans, and he faced charges including conspiracy to commit healthcare fraud and wire fraud, healthcare fraud, conspiracy to defraud the U.S. and to pay and receive illegal healthcare kickbacks and bribes, and conspiracy to launder monetary instruments. You know how much paper it takes just to print out his charges?
Yeah.
Prosecutors allege that between 2016 and 2019, Satari owned and operated multiple diagnostic testing laboratories across the country, including Performance Laboratories in Oklahoma, Clio Labs in Georgia, and Lazarus Services in Louisiana. The labs allegedly billed Medicare for expensive, medically unnecessary cancer genetic tests, often generated through telemarketing campaigns, patient recruiters, health fairs, and telemedicine arrangements. Tests were sometimes ordered by doctors who did not examine or even speak with the patients, according to the indictment. That's some dirty shit right there. Wow. So the laboratories collectively submitted approximately $547 million in claims to Medicare and Medicare Advantage plans. Authorities said the programs reimbursed roughly $134 million. Satari and alleged co-conspirators purportedly paid millions in illegal kickbacks and bribes to doctors and recruiters in exchange for patient referrals, DNA samples, and orders that enabled the billing. Federal authorities seized 16 bank accounts and restrained real estate that was restrained real estate. I'm sure it's that they took into their custody real estate linked to Satari as part of the original case. After his indictment, Satari was arrested and released on bond with conditions that prohibited him from working in the healthcare field. While on pretrial release, he allegedly continued involvement with Houston area labs that submitted additional fraudulent genetic testing claims. A federal arrest warrant was issued on November 23rd of 2022 for violating the conditions, but he failed to appear in court and then became a fugitive. The FBI added Satari to its most wanted fraudster list in 2026 amid a broader national healthcare fraud enforcement effort. Officials noted possible ties or travel to locations including Houston, Atlanta, Delray Beach, Florida, Dubai, the United Arab Emirates. How do you say
Emirates?
That? Emirates? Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever said
UAB.
Yeah, but
I mean UAE.
But I have always. Have you ever read
UAB? University of Alabama, Birmingham.
Have you ever read? UAE. Have you ever read a word wrong your whole life and knew that you didn't know how to pronounce it?
No.
Never.
Never.
Well, I have, and I've always said that as Emiratus in my head.
Emirates.
Cool.
But I've mispronounced many words. I just didn't know they were wrong.
I was tested, and I'm not perfect. So either way, and so Dubai was listed as one of his possible locations, and they got him. He's a little bitty dude. Yeah,
and when you're wondering why your health care is so expensive, there's a good reason for it. Look, $547 million, y'all, is a boatload of money. And I know we all know that, but we can't even wrap our minds around the amount of money that this sucker stole. What a piece of trash. And I think you should go to jail for the rest of your life for shit like that.
You know what else I think? That these doctors should be held accountable if they didn't even have those patients. You didn't even review those records.
But yeah, absolutely. No, and I would imagine they will be. In the end, they're going to round up other people. He was just a ringleader. Yeah. Sounds like he owned the companies. Yeah. But that is a boatload of money, and that is the reason, these frauds that take place, whether it's insurance fraud for cars, car insurance, things like that. That is why these things cost so much money for us regular citizens, and something like that ought to piss everybody off.
Yeah, because we're the ones that are paying the price. And I'm gonna tell you, I had to get genetic.
Glad they caught him.
I had to get genetic testing done myself back in the Gap because of a cancer issue. And so they drew my blood. I went through the whole process, and they lost it. So the lab contacted me, and I had to go through the whole thing again to get that genetic testing done. Now I want to go back and see, was that the lab?
Yeah.
I'd be curious.
Might would be.
Yeah.
All right. Look, I told y'all at the beginning of this one that we were going to have maybe even just a one episode segment. It probably come back every now and then because every once in a while I'll run across these stories. But we're going to call this our Karen's Gone Wild segment.
Let me talk to the manager.
There's a sound for you. Very good, Kelly. Well, we've already, as I said, talked about Taco Bell, but we're going to bring you another one. A 30-year-old woman faces multiple charges after pulling a handgun and threatening Taco Bell employees during a dispute over how long her food order was taken.
Oh, my God.
Ashley Andrews became frustrated while waiting at a Taco Bell when deputies say she engaged in a verbal altercation with staff before escalating the situation dramatically. Restaurant workers told investigators Andrews told them to meet her outside.
Catch me outside. How about that?
Catch me outside. Lifted her shirt and revealed a loaded firearm and placed her hand on the grip in a threatening manner. Deputies responded responded quickly, detained her without incident. She was arrested and charged with, get this, several misdemeanors, including threats involving a dangerous weapon, which should be a felony. A second person was involved in the verbal dispute, and they were also detained. No one was injured, and the loaded handgun was secured by authorities.
So this right here,
she looks like a little Karen.
This is what bothers me right here. You, ma'am, are the prime example of why we have so many gun issues and discussions in the United States of America. When I'll tell you right now, I am all about carrying a weapon. I'm all about it. But there is expectations with a weapon, and that bullshit right there isn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? That is to protect your life or the life of someone else in a live or die moment. And then you're going to run around wanting to threaten people with a gun. First of all, that is the number one thing that a coward does. A coward flashes a weapon in their pants over fucking Taco Bell. It really bothers me.
They was taking too long.
I don't care. They should have taken the dadgum taco and smacked her upside her damn head with it.
It's supposed to be fast food.
Yeah, well, okay, whatever. But for real, you, ma'am, you are literally the reason that dumb shit happens, and then law-abiding citizens who just want to have a way to protect their families are the ones that are getting shit on because you can't control yourself.
There you go, Ashley Andrew, straight from KJ herself.
That's right. Let me talk to the manager. All right, this one here is one that I think a lot of people may be familiar with, but the Long Island Lolita, right?
Yep.
So her son, Amy Fisher, her son, is accused of killing his family's pet cat in a manner investigators say may have involved a microwave. So Brett Anthony Balera, 25, and his girlfriend Jennifer Armenti, 36, are each charged with aggravated animal cruelty in connection with the December 2024 death of their cat, whose, unfortunately, his name was Reaper. It's kind of dark, don't you think? All right, so Balera is the eldest son of Fisher, who pled guilty to aggravated assault in the 1992 shooting of Mary Jo Buttafuoco during an affair with Buttafuoco's husband, Joey. Well, Fisher was released from prison in 1999 after serving 7 years. According to a probable cause affidavit, Broward County Animal Care contacted Fort Lauderdale police after Armenti reported that Reaper had died. Armenti allegedly told investigators that she woke up and found the cat dead on the bathroom floor. When animal care officers arrived, they allegedly found Reaper's body inside a plastic laundry basket on the back patio with blood pooled at the bottom of the basket. Balera allegedly told investigators that Reaper may have consumed cleaning products and died from accidental poisoning. The cat's body was sent to the ASPCA for a forensic necropsy, according to the affidavit. Well, when that was done, they concluded that Reaper died from, quote, involuntary heat exposure, end quote, which the forensic veterinarian said may have resulted from microwave radiation.
Oh, my God.
Submersion in hot water or exposure to hot water vapor. The veterinarian also concluded that Reaper did not die immediately and experienced severe pain and suffering before his death. Balera was charged in the case while he was already being held on unrelated charges. Armeni was arrested on June 17th. So court records show Balera had previously faced charges in Broward County, including burglary, drug possession, and domestic battery. A judge ordered Balera not to possess any animals while on pretrial release in this cruelty case.
Yeah, and you know what surprised me about that one was, man, I guess shout out to the Florida police for taking it that far.
Yeah.
Like they basically had an autopsy done on this cat.
Yeah.
They were so suspicious something was not right here.
Yeah. And you look at the tattoos. We have the pictures obviously up if you're watching this podcast. And Jennifer's got a big cross tattooed on her neck. So
well, what we think is we don't see the rest of it.
Yeah.
It might be a pentagram.
Yeah.
You can't see the rest of it.
But, like, you're way too damn old to be, first of all, acting like this. You got burglary charges. But obviously, y'all are a bunch of numbnuts who are not being beneficial to society. But then to torture something that's supposed to be your pet shows me that y'all are both losers.
Yeah,
You're losers.
What a shock that this is a Long Island Lolita's son.
Yeah, I know. You'd think she
Can't
would have
believe he would act like
just
that.
raised a gentleman.
Imagine that.
Who could have thunk it? Never saw that coming.
Joey Buttafuoco. You remember that case?
I do.
Yeah.
Very much so. And that poor woman still.
Amy Fisher.
Yeah. Suffered,
Shot
catastrophic
that woman.
damage.
Shot that woman in the head. And she was just in high school at that time, a senior in high school.
Wild.
Yeah, crazy case. All right, that's all we got for you today. We're not going to go into overtime since this is just a regular, extra episode.
Yeah.
But Kelly, any final thoughts?
I sure do have some final thoughts. They are curious about your final thoughts.
Well,
Sorry,
that
I wasn't.
threw me for a loop. All right. Well, my final thoughts are thank you so much for listening. Don't really have any final thoughts this week, except very appreciative for all of you that intake the show every week. And I want to shout out Miss Lori Johnson, who became a grandmother today.
Aww.
So congratulations, Lori Johnson, bestie chick, thinking about you today. And Miss Bailey, who is the best softball player I ever saw in my life.
Oh, is that who had the baby? Bailey?
That's who had the baby.
Oh, well, welcome to the world, little one. We're glad you're here.
Yep. And until next time, I'm Jim Chapman.
And I'm Kelly Jennings.
And we are your host of Crime
Wire
Weekly.